The world is watching. Once again, former U.S. President Donald Trump raises his voice, this time against India and directly at Prime Minister Modi. His words? Not playing fair. The stage is set, and the question is clear. Is this politics, pressure, or power play? Trump's accusation is simple, but its weight is enormous. He points his finger at India, saying the country is buying oil from Russia at heavily discounted prices, while the West continues to struggle with higher costs. To him, this is not a level playing field. He frames it as an economic imbalance, a sign that India is taking advantage of a global crisis, while America is left carrying the burden. But beneath the surface, the story is far more complex. Nations act in their own interest, and India, with a population of over 1 billion people, must secure affordable energy to keep its economy running and its people protected. Trump's words, not playing fair, strike at a sensitive point. They are designed to stir emotion, to suggest that America is being treated unjustly. Yet one must ask, is India truly at fault for making deals that benefit its people? Or is this simply the art of survival in a ruthless global market? What Trump calls unfair, many might call strategic. In international politics, fairness is rarely the deciding factor. Strength, negotiation, and opportunity usually are. India's purchase of Russian oil is not just about cheaper fuel. It is about independence. It is about showing the world that New Delhi will not be dictated to, even by the strongest nations. Trump's statement may grab headlines, but it also reveals something deeper, a frustration that America is no longer the only power setting the rules. By calling India out, Trump is reminding his audience that global leadership is slipping and competitors are rising. But for India, this is a chance to prove that in the race for energy and influence, survival is not unfair. It is necessary. Trump's words about Prime Minister Narendra Modi strike with a mix of admiration and accusation. By calling Modi his a close pal, he softens the blow on the surface. But the underlying message is sharp. Even friendship does not excuse what he sees as an imbalance. This duality creates a powerful narrative. On one side, respect for Modi as a leader who has earned global recognition, and on the other, criticism of India's choices that, in Trump's eyes, undermine American interests. It is a calculated move. By invoking personal friendship, Trump makes the issue sound less like cold politics and more like a betrayal, suggesting that even allies can go too far when national interests collide. This tactic is not new. Leaders often use relationships as leverage, highlighting closeness when it benefits their message. Trump, known for his straightforward style, frames the Apollo reference as a reminder personal bonds do not erase political realities. In doing so, he positions himself as both a friend who is disappointed and a leader who refuses to overlook what he sees as unfair practice. It's a clever balance, acknowledging Modi's global stature while questioning the decisions India has made regarding Russian oil imports. Skapui. For India, this framing presents a challenge and an opportunity. On one hand, being singled out by a former U.S. president could be seen as pressure, as if New Delhi owes explanations for decisions driven by national interest. On the other hand, it highlights India's growing importance, showing the world that its choices matter enough to attract America's focus. By bringing Modi into the conversation so directly, Trump unintentionally elevates India's role as a central player in the global energy game. And in that moment, the so-called a close pal becomes a symbol of both friendship and rivalry on the world stage. This clash is not simply about the price of oil, it is about the balance of global power. Energy has always been the bloodstream of nations, the fuel that determines who grows, who stalls, and who falls behind. When Trump speaks about India's Russian oil deals, he is pointing to something much larger, the way choices around energy ripple out into politics, trade, and even security. Cheap oil for India means more stability for its industries, more growth for its economy, and more confidence in its leadership. But for the West, watching these moves feels like a threat, as if the rules of the global market are being rewritten without their consent. The stakes are enormous. Every barrel of oil bought at a discount is more than just fuel. It is influence, leverage, and strategic power. For America and Europe, it raises alarms that the alliances they have built are no longer strong enough to dictate terms. The battlefield is no longer fought with soldiers alone. It is fought with pipelines, shipping lanes, and contracts signed behind closed doors. In this high-stakes game, India's decision carries weight far beyond its borders. It signals to the world that the future will not be shaped by a single power, but by a competition of many. And that is precisely what Trump fears, the erosion of America's dominance in a world where nations like India are rising fast. The global stakes, then, are not just about oil, but about who sets the rules in the decades to come. The outcome of these choices will echo across economies, alliances, and generations. India's position has been clear and unwavering. It will buy energy wherever it secures the best deal for its people. In a world of rising prices and uncertain supply chains, this is not just an economic choice. It is an act of national duty. For a country with over 1 billion citizens, affordable fuel is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Leaders in New Delhi know that without energy, factories slow, transportation halts, and growth falters. By defending its right to choose, India is sending a powerful message to the world. Sovereignty cannot be compromised, not even under pressure from the strongest nations. When Trump calls out India, some may see it as criticism, but for India, it becomes a test of resolve. Can a nation chart its own course in a system dominated by larger powers? India's answer has been consistent. Yes, it can. And yes, it must. The world may prefer loyalty, but loyalty that sacrifices national interest is a weakness no country can afford. That is why India has framed its stance not as defiance, but as fairness to its own people. After all, what government can justify paying more for energy when cheaper options are available elsewhere? This stand has not gone unnoticed. Allies watch closely, rivals take notes, and global institutions whisper about a shifting balance. While by staying firm, India is not just protecting its economy, it is shaping its reputation as a country that cannot be pushed into submission. In a time when alliances change overnight, resilience is more valuable than approval. For India, the decision to stand tall is not just about oil contracts. It is about survival, dignity, and proving that strength is measured not by pleasing others, but by protecting one's own. The bigger question looming over this debate is not about barrels of oil, but about principles. Who, in truth, is not playing fair? From one angle, Trump's frustration seems justified. He argues that America shoulders the cost of protecting global order while others reap the benefits of cheaper deals. From another angle, India's choices look entirely rational. Why should a sovereign nation pay more when it can secure better terms for its people elsewhere? The clash is less about fairness and more about perspective. What looks unfair to Washington may look like smart survival to New Delhi. This question forces the world to confront a deeper reality. International politics has never been a fair game. It is a battlefield of interests, where every country is fighting to secure its future. America defends its dominance. Russia protects its survival. And India, rising rapidly, seeks to carve out independence in a world where dependence can be fatal. Each side believes it is right, and each side accuses the other of bending the rules. But beyond accusations, the real story is India's growing centrality. If Trump repeatedly calls out India, it is because he knows India's choices matter. No longer a silent player on the sidelines, India is now a voice that can tilt the balance of power. Whether it chooses Russian oil, American partnerships, or its own independent path, the world is watching, and every move has consequences. So the bigger question becomes not just about oil or fairness, but about leadership. Will India bow to pressure, or will it continue to chart its own course? History tells us that great nations do not simply follow, they lead. And if India holds firm, it may prove that being called unfair today is the price of being respected tomorrow. History shows us great nations don't bow, they rise. And whether friend or foe calls it unfair, India's choices today could echo for generations.